My love, sometimes I find myself sitting quietly, wondering what you saw in me that made you choose me as your partner. I ask myself this question over and over again, and I still can't seem to find an answer that satisfies me. Honestly, even I get surprised at my own actions sometimes. I am clumsy, forgetful, and far from perfect. I stumble, I fall, and I often hurt myself over the smallest things. There are days when I forget the simplest tasks, days when I want nothing more than to curl up under a blanket and sleep away the entire day. I know I can be lazy at times, preferring the comfort of home instead of going out and exploring the world the way you do. And yet, despite all of these flaws, despite my little quirks and imperfections, you chose me. That thought leaves me both grateful and overwhelmed. Sometimes, my friends tease me about this very thing. They jokingly ask how someone like me managed to be with someone as wonderful as you. They say I'm lucky, and the truth is, they are absolutely right. When they ask me to explain, I never quite know what to say. Even I can't fully understand how I became the person you wanted by your side. When I compare the two of us as individuals, you seem so much better in every way, more composed, more capable, more everything. And while I admire you deeply, I can't help but feel a little insecure. I worry that one day you might wake up and realize you deserve more than what I am able to give. That fear sits quietly in the back of my mind, and sometimes, it scares me more than I'd like to admit. I know I try to be a good partner, but I also know I fall short in some places. There are still so many areas where I need to improve, and I am painfully aware of that. But what I want you to know, what I need you to know, is that I love you deeply, with everything I have, and I am beyond grateful for every single moment I get to spend with you. Being with you has taught me so much about love, patience, and kindness. You make me want to be better, not just for myself but for us. That is why I have one small request: if ever there is something you dislike in me, something that bothers you or makes you unhappy, please don't keep it inside. Tell me. Share it with me. Give me the chance to understand and to correct it. The thought of you leaving me without a word, without a reason, is something I know I would not be able to handle. I don't know why I'm being this emotional today, why my heart feels heavier than usual, or why my thoughts are overflowing. Maybe it's because sometimes I forget just how lucky I am, and when I remember, the fear of losing you grows stronger. I know I can be silly. I know I tend to overthink, especially after hearing what others say, and it pushes me into these spirals of insecurity. But beneath all of that noise, I know the truth. I know you love me. I know you see something in me that I may never fully see in myself. I know you chose me, not by accident, but because your heart told you I was the one. And when I remind myself of that, I feel calm again. No relationship is perfect. Ours isn't either, and it never will be, because perfection doesn't exist in love. What matters is that we keep trying, that we love and respect each other every day, even in the moments when it feels difficult. I believe with all my heart that as long as we hold on to each other, as long as we continue to communicate and grow together, everything will only get better for us. Our bond will strengthen, our love will deepen, and we will find more reasons to smile with each passing day. I laugh at myself sometimes, because here I am, writing all of this, when you have already told me 1,000 times how much you love me. You remind me every day, and yet I still need reassurance, still need to be reminded again and again. You can tease me for it if you like, you can pull my ears and scold me gently, but know that it only comes from how much you mean to me. I love you so much, sweetheart. Truly, I cannot imagine a life without you. Just the thought of you not being here beside me is enough to make my chest tighten. You are not just someone I want, you are the one thing I need. More than anything else in this life, I want you. Words will never be enough to show you what you mean to me. You are my whole world, my happiness, my lifeline. Without you, I would feel incomplete. With you, I feel whole, safe, and understood. You are my best friend, my partner, my safe space, and my greatest blessing. And though I may worry, though I may overthink, and though I may sometimes doubt myself, the one thing I never doubt is the love I carry for you. That love is endless. That love is forever. My dear, you know I have this very bad habit of overthinking, and it's something that has been bothering me for a long time. Whenever I come across something new, instead of just accepting it, processing it, and moving on like most people probably would, my mind holds on to it tightly. I start thinking about it for hours without pause, replaying scenarios and possibilities over and over again. This makes it very hard for me to relax, and sometimes it even steals away my sleep. Instead of resting peacefully at night, I find myself tossing and turning, unable to stop my mind from racing. What makes it worse is that my thoughts almost always drift toward the worst-case scenarios. It's as though my brain skips all the neutral or positive outcomes and rushes directly to the most frightening possibilities. The strange thing is, I wasn't always like this. In fact, if I look back at myself a few years ago, I remember being a much more fearless person. I was able to take things as they came without obsessing over them too much. But these days, I feel I've changed a lot. I've grown quieter and more introverted, and the overthinking has become more dominant in my life. The moments I struggle the most are when I'm told I have to meet someone, even relatives or family friends. Instead of feeling happy or neutral about social interactions, my mind starts spinning with what-ifs. What if I say something wrong? What if they judge me? What if the meeting doesn't go well? And sometimes I wonder whether this happens only to me or if others secretly experience the same thing but just don't talk about it. In my mind, I know very clearly that the scenarios I imagine will almost never actually happen. Yet, I can't stop myself from playing them out repeatedly. It feels like my thoughts have a mind of their own. The best way I can describe it is that my mind is like fire, and every new piece of information acts like petrol being poured onto it. Instead of cooling down, the fire only blazes more fiercely, until it becomes difficult to control. This constant burning of thoughts drains my energy and makes me feel restless. At times, I truly don't know what to do to stop this level of overthinking. That's why I often find myself wishing for some kind of solution. I want to behave more like what people call a normal human being, someone who doesn't overanalyze every single situation. When I share these feelings with my friends, instead of comforting me, many of them just look at me strangely. They often ask me what's wrong with me, as if my thoughts are something odd or unusual. Their reactions sometimes make me feel even more isolated, as though I'm carrying a burden that nobody else understands. Overthinking doesn't just affect my mind, it also affects my body and mood. There are times when it becomes extremely annoying. I grow restless and unable to sit still. My head starts to feel heavy, as though I've been carrying a load for too long. I get irritated quickly, even over small things that normally wouldn't bother me. My mood sinks lower and lower, and I lose the desire to talk to anyone. Instead of connecting with people, I pull back into myself, which only feeds the cycle of isolation. Deep inside, I know I need to learn how to take things lightly. Not everything in life deserves so much attention, and not every situation requires serious analysis. Some things are meant to be enjoyed, laughed off, or simply experienced without overthinking. A part of me understands this truth very well. But knowing it and practicing it are two very different things, and I still struggle with the second part. Sometimes I imagine how easy life would be if I had a magic switch in my brain. Whenever anxious thoughts started to spiral, I would just flip the switch and shut them off instantly. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. Since I don't have that switch, I keep searching for other feasible solutions, practical methods that could help me calm my mind and prevent it from wandering down dark paths. I've tried some strategies, like chanting God's name in my mind whenever the overthinking begins. At times it gives me comfort, but often I get distracted and fall right back into the same loop of thoughts. This makes me realize that my focus isn't strong enough, and I need to improve it. Meditation comes to mind as a possible solution. I used to practice it, but I stopped somewhere along the way. Maybe returning to it will help me rebuild inner calm and train my mind to let go of unnecessary worries. I hope I'm not boring you by sharing all of this. It's just that sometimes I feel the need to speak openly about what's happening inside me. Talking about it gives me a little relief, like opening a window in a stuffy room to let fresh air in. At the same time, I do believe that everything will be fine. Deep down, I know this phase of overthinking isn't permanent. I just need to learn how to relax, how to take life more lightly, and how to chill, as people say. It's easier said than done, but I'm willing to keep trying. I remind myself that everything will be okay in the end. God has always been by my side, and I trust that He will continue to help me through these challenges. Even though my mind feels chaotic at times, my heart tells me that with faith, patience, and practice, I can find peace again. Overthinking doesn't define me, it's just a habit I've developed, and habits can be changed. I want to believe that one day, I'll look back at this period of my life and smile, knowing that I grew stronger because of it.